Welcome to this message of encouragement. Today I'm going to talk about God's many ways of protecting us. But before I get started, I always like to ask those of you who are watching to please pray for our nation's leaders. Also, please pray for other people. And I'd also like to ask that you please pray for me. I need to be lifted up in prayer as well, and would very much appreciate it if you would remember me. Today I wanted to talk about the many different ways that God protects us. Because He does. A lot of people, sometimes forget or thinks God has forgotten to protect them, but we are under God's protection. But there is something I want to, like to point out, that we always have to remain alert and focused on God, to hear His voice, to see His message, to see these warning signs or these danger signs. We have to constantly, be alert and stay alert, and like I said, look for the signs, and look for the messages that He's given us, or these times that maybe when He's warning us about danger or to stay away from this or that. In Psalms chapter 40, we're told that God puts a song in our heart. Well, why does God put a song in our heart? He puts a song in our heart so that we will remain focused upon Him, because we have to have that focus upon Him for several reasons. Like I said, to keep that ear and out for listening for the Lord telling us about danger or warning us, or keeping an eye out for things that we need to see. But also that putting that song in our heart takes our attention off wanting to seek revenge on other people, or and like I said, to distract us from God's protection. So we need to remember, keep that song in our heart and stay focused on God. So I've came up with at least 9 or 10 different ways that God, protects us. The many ways that He protects us. There may be more. I've tried to, come up with all of them that I can, think of to share with you. The first way that God communicates with us is through that little whisper. Sometimes that little whisper in our ear that's saying, don't do this, or don't do that, or don't go this way, or don't go that way. It's just sometimes people have said it was that little like that little voice that they were hearing, like God was sitting right there on their shoulder. And also another way that the Lord often gives us that protection is sometimes we'll get that uneasy feeling, or a feeling that we should do this or do that, or maybe that we shouldn't do something, or shouldn't go in a certain direction. It's kind of that uneasy feeling. I know that everybody's had that feeling at one time or another, and that's God trying to lead, guide, and direct, as well as to protect. Another way that God protects us that people really miss a lot of time is through the various means of safety equipment. People just didn't come up with safety equipment on their own because people could care less about other people's well-being and safety. It was God that pressed upon others' hearts to come up with this safety equipment, and to have the desire to keep people safe, as well as for individuals to have the desire to use safety equipment to keep to help keep themselves safe. So God uses safety equipment. Like safety glasses, steel-toe shoes, and just like hard hats and stuff to keep us from getting hit in the head from things. There's just so many things to prevent trip hazards. There's just thousands and thousands of things out there that are for our own safety, and we always need to use safety equipment. I know a lot of people like to take shortcuts and get in a hurry, but safety equipment is part of God's protection. Also, I know that a lot of you are familiar. God has angels encamped around us, and our angels are constantly protecting us also. I know of many of you, maybe like myself, have almost fallen at times, almost been in automobile accidents, or almost this, that, or the other, whatever it may be. That was our angels, actually protecting us, keeping us from that fall, keeping us from getting hit in an automobile. Whatever the circumstances may be, we need to be able to recognize that, hey, thank you, God, for the angels that you've placed around me to protect me. God also puts others around us to keep us safe. Maybe like a police officer or a friend or a family member, someone to keep us out of harm's way, or to keep that extra eye out when we may be doing certain things or going through certain areas. Maybe a friend or family member has protected you, like saying watch your step, you've almost fallen or almost dropped something, or like I said, putting firemen, policemen, paramedics, people like that, in place. He uses them to protect us also. But again, most importantly, God expects us to use common sense. I can't stress common sense enough to stay alert, for the dangers around you, for the dangerous people that may be out there around you. It's like, driving an automobile. You don't need to be, driving an automobile like this, playing on your telephone. I mean, you have not a clue what's going on around you. And if you want God's protection, you have to stay, fully alert. What's going on to the right? What's going on to the left? What's going on in front of you? What's going on behind you? You have to, stay focused and know these things, not just, sitting there and just, mesmerized by this little telephone that's, that's got millions of people just addicted to these little devices. You need to break that addiction, because people have been injured or killed, playing with these phones, texting different ones. So you do, in fact, miss out on God's protection when you are distracted. Whether it be, like I said, by a cell phone, playing on a radio, putting in a CD play, into your CD player, whatever it may be. Once you lose your focus, you're distracted. That's when you can lose God's protection. That's by your own fault, not the fault of God, because you are, to stay alert at all times. And there have been so many times that Jesus himself has protected us without us even knowing. We'll go through our whole lives and never know that Jesus protected us from this or that, or whatever the situation may be, that he's constantly protecting us, that we don't even recognize nor even give him credit for. So anytime you should pray, you should always, give thanks, and give thanks during the day for the things that you were protected for, that you don't even realize that you were being protected. And again, I'd just like to say, that we really, have to stay alert and open, to hearing God, to seeing the dangers around us, to know that when and where danger is around us. If we keep our eyes open, open your eyes, see what's going on around you, you will see that God is protecting you. And, we all want to stay protected and not be injured, laid up for life, with an injury, that could, be disabling to us. We, need God's protection before, the bad things happen, because once the bad things happen, then people have a tendency to say, well, and get mad at God and say, well, why didn't you protect me? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And, and like I said, things like that are oftentimes, our own fault, our own negligence, not to stay alert, not to keep our eyes open to the dangers around us, because God will protect us. So I hope this message has been encouraging to you. I hope it's been uplifting to you in some way, and I hope that it will help you to think of the many ways that God is protecting you, has protected you in the past, and is going to protect you in the future. God bless. Stay safe.